Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Thank you very much for joining me early today. I am happy to be in this special set because Spring and Danny used the studio over the weekend. So we're here today, and I have quite a lot in store for you. So stick around. This is Mark Your Day. Saying good morning to Tito Gilbert Lazaro, Tito Vlogs, Kuya JV Onod. Who else is here with us early today? Yes, Kuya JV Onod, Kuya Jackie Bolongaita. We also have Tito Mel Chan. Tito Mel Chan is also with us this morning. Of course, Uncle Henry Daot is here with us today as well. And then we have Ate Rohaifa and everyone who are just lurking and not writing their comments. I know that I have received messages from quite a few who are saying, Mark, we listen to your show, we catch your show, MWF Mark Your Day, but we just don't give our comments. That's all right. And of course, Tita Beng Wolf. Good morning, Tita Beng. And to our friends at A-Freight in Hong Kong, in Singapore, and here in the Philippines as well. Good morning as well to Gloria Roque. Maayong buntag kaninyong tanan. How's the sound today, my friends? Uncle Henry likes the sound loud and clear. Is the sound loud and clear today, Uncle Henry? Purissima Go, good morning as well. If you have, by the way, things that you want me to announce, people that you want me to greet, please feel free to just type them down in the comments below. If you have your thoughts as well on the topics that we tackle here on Mark Your Day, please just let me know. By the way, I will be talking about an interesting series in the coming days. We will be talking about how businesses will transition to more digital. We will also be talking about how to prevent cancer. We'll also be talking about, is there really a career in music and in creativity? Those topics are all lined up. We are preparing those for you. We have contacted some friends who will be joining us to talk about those things. So we will let you know in the coming days. Good morning as well to Dal. Good morning to everyone. Let's begin with some news items as we always do. What's in the news? What's in the news today? Okay. We have a common news article or common news item in many of the dailies of the country. Let's begin with first some updates from COVID, from DOH rather. Okay, ilan po? Medyo mababa today. Check that out. 2,378 cases only, according to my boss and my partner here. Monday daw kasi baka nagpahinga yung mga taga-labs. Or baka hindi masyado kasi weekend nga. Okay, 1,000 plus only in NCR. In Cavite, Laguna, Rizal, and Cebu. Cebu is now double digits only. Palakpakan po natin yung mga taga Cebu. Double digits na lang sila. Tingnan natin yung iba. Oo, mababa. Mababa na. Pababa na itong COVID sa ating bansa. Which is good. Kasi kailangan nating bumalik sa ating regular na buhay para ang mga negosyo makabawi. Para magkatotoo yung sinabi ng mga eksperto at economists that the Philippines is actually poised for growth in the coming year. And there's going to be a lot of business activity in 2021. Kaya kung gusto nyo po makasama dyan sa action na yan, you better stick around because I will be talking about how do we become successful in life. I know a lot of people have talked about this. I will be sharing with you my 4 essentials for success today. Kung gusto mo maging successful sa buhay, ano yung 4 na bagay na dapat nating iniisip at dapat nating ginagawa? Okay, so mild cases still 91.5%. Okay, let's visit now the Philippine Daily Inquirer. What's in the Inquirer? Lacson, evidence enough to indict PhilHealth executives. Dumb and corrupt daw yung mga executive ng PhilHealth. Bobo na, magnanakaw pa. Yan po yung sabi ni Senator Lacson, who joined Senator Soto in investigating PhilHealth. According to Senator Lacson, it is true that there's a mafia at PhilHealth. And the mafia members are the executive board members themselves. Oh, that's really sad. Sino po yung mga yung tinutukoy ni Senator Lacson? Tingnan natin dun sa balita ng Philippine Star. Before we go there, let's check out some other news items here and let's talk about them a bit. Bidding controversy brewing in Quezon City. Alam niyo yung mga purchases talaga sa mga LGU. Yan ang isa mismo minsan source ng corruption eh. Kasi yung alam mo, it's not secret anymore. Open secret na yon na merong naluluto or lutong Macau. Meaning pinag-uusapan na bago pa ipabid, talagang meron nang nanalo. Hatchlings gives hope. Ito yung ating isang rare species. It's a cockatoo. It's a cockatoo in the Philippines. Alam nyo ba na ang Philippines is some of the most yung rich yung flora and fauna ng ating forests at yung ating dagat naman ganun din po ka ganda yung diversity ng mga mahahanap doon na species. That's for the Philippine Daily Inquirer. Let's check out Philippine Star. PhilHealth Execom is real mafia. Dito binanggit na po ni Senator Lacson yung mga pangalan. Sabi nila ang key people daw dito sa PhilHealth na ito ay mismong Presidente Ricardo Morales, who's unfortunately also suffering with cancer now, but he has to face this. You have to face this. We'll talk about that. Decisions and consequences, making money, taking shortcuts. Is that worth it? Nung tingin nyo, Kuya Mel, worth ba na mag-shortcut tayo, yumaman ka, kumita ka ng pera, magkakaproblema ka naman? Renato Limsiaco, Fund Management SVP, Senior Vice President. Senior Vice President Jovito Aragon, this guy is from IT. And Senior Manager Calixto Gabuya. These are some of the names, some of the persons named in that news article. According to that news article, it was Jovito Aragon and Calixto Gabuya who engineered the overpricing of the IT equipment by over 1,000%. Grabe, no? Talagang garapalan. According to the Inquirer news article, yung nag-prepare ng list nung hospitals, mismong Execom. So sila talaga ang merong control dito sa nangyayari sa PhilHealth. What are the other news items here in the Philippine Star? COVID positive returning Pinays hit 5,742. Pinoys, not Pinays. yes, meron kang mga repatriates. Siyempre, mas marami din sa ibang lugar. Kung merong mga galing Amerika, galing Middle East, marami din doon. Siyempre, pag uwi niyan dito, posibleng may bit-bit na COVID. That's why they're saying this might not end soon because global at hindi naman kaagad makakakuha ng vaccine lahat. Hindi naman yan magiging available yung vaccine sa lahat ng tao sa buong mundo or at the very least lahat ng mga bumabiyaheng tao sa buong mundo. Kaya looks like we're gonna get stuck here in our homes much longer than we think. Kaya rong kang opening ng konti, observing mga precautions and minimum health standards, pero tayo, at kung meron kang option na manatili sa bahay, please just stay at home. Kaya nag-iisip kami ni Trisha na bumili na ng treadmill na may miss na naming tumakbo. I was asking Trisha last night, can I already go running or biking? But it's too much of a risk. Alam nyo, there were people in our Facebook that were parang sadly passed away because of COVID. And not all of them are old. Not all of them have comorbidities. Some of them are actually healthy people. That's why I'm trying to be very careful because I have asthma, and if it attacks the lungs, I might not have the lung strength to resist it. So napakahirap po. So we're on a hunt for treadmill. Mas maganda kasi yung treadmill dito lang ako. Inggit na ako kay Coach Riman Galigues. Riman is an athlete, triathlete who's also a faculty member at Ateneo de Manila High School, if I'm not mistaken. He's the former dean of students. He runs a lot on his treadmill and he has lost so much weight, and he's running 10Ks at 44 minutes now. Inggit din ako kay Professor Jik Europa ng Davao. He has lost from the pictures. He looks like he has lost over 30 pounds already, and he's looking fit, much fitter than ever. Alam mo yun, only because they have treadmill and stepper. Meron talagang makina. So, it looks like kailangan natin ng technology pati sa pag-exercise. Kuya Mel Chan says, looking forward to GSK vaccine by, looks like second half of 2021. I hope other pharmaceuticals could come up there. I know that the Glaxo and AstraZeneca is saying that they could have theirs available hopefully by the last quarter of this year. And what's the other one? What's the other big one? There's another US-based pharmaceutical. Looks like they're also trying to produce theirs by last quarter of this year. Hopefully early next year. But I think it's not just the time that they release it. It's also how fast they could produce it in volumes, because the world clearly wants this vaccine. And if the rich countries get hold of this earlier, Pfizer, that's right, Kuya Mel, Pfizer, yes, Kuya JV, Pfizer. Pero the ability to produce it in such numbers that would have an impact to the number of cases around the world, I think is also the challenge there, because manufacturing hindi naman kadali yun, lalo na for something as delicate as a vaccine. Okay? Those are some of the news. Okay, House to ratify Bayanihan Bill today. Oh, that's good. That's another headline article from Philippine Star. We talked about the Bayanihan 2 last time. Remember, I talked to you. I gave you the list of things that were in Bayanihan. See, it's my lovely notebook. What notebook do I use, by the way? If you're into pens and fountain pens, you need a good notebook. And for me, one of the best notebooks for fountain pen use is the Rhodia. I really love this notebook. It's so smooth. It's not cheap, but it takes the fountain pen ink well. So they will ratify the Bayanihan 2, 140 billion, with a lot of provision for supporting businesses, for buying vaccines. There's a budget there as well. It also provides for grace period for repayment of loans and credit cards. It also provides 6 billion for SMEs, 1 billion for tourism infrastructure. It also provides for benefit for health workers who might get infected by COVID-19, among other things. Okay, let's finally move on to the Manila Standard. What's with the PhilHealth execs face wraps? Good morning, Miss Daniela Eunice. Daniela is growing really fast and she is my second daughter. She's going to the Marikina Science High School. So I wish her all the best. I hope she studies well because going to science high school will require for you to focus on your science and math. And the class size is much bigger than the school where she came from. So go for it, Daniela. There in the photo you see there people biking to work. I believe that is important. And in fact, I posted about this on my Facebook page. I thought, you know what we lack if we are to promote the biking culture in the Philippines is really two major infrastructures. Number one are the bike lanes. Of course, you can't have unsafe roads for cyclists. It's too much of a risk if they're running alongside buses and trucks and cars with no barriers. And with the kind of driving we see in this country, it's too much of a risk. But there's another infrastructure that I believe is important if we are to promote the cycling culture in the Philippines, and that is bike parking and shower facilities. You know what? I was imagining if you could transform some of the parking lots in, let's say, BGC, Ortigas, or Makati into bike parking. And if I remember, Mr. Ted Filon had this before when there were a lot of mga typhoon calamities in the Philippines. He had buses that they transformed into mobile shower facilities. If you have shower facilities in your various CBDs, the central business districts, then people could bike there, park, take a shower, and then leave their bike there, go to work. Kasi if you're coming from a bike ride and you go up to your building and it doesn't have shower facilities, hindi ka naman siguro magiging masaya nun. That's why it's important to have shower facilities. So imagine if you have those bike parking and shower facilities across the metro and in other big cities in the Philippines. That would, I'm sure, encourage people to bike. At least for those people who don't need to to dress up formally when they go to work. For many of the employees who are not constrained to a coat and tie, I'm sure it's going to encourage them to use their bikes to get to work. Kasi malapit lang malulog. Imagine from Marikina to Makati, that's just around 15 kilometers. That's not far at all. If you bike at an easy pace of 20 kilometers per hour, that would bring you to Makati in less than an hour. That's much faster than taking a taxi or taking a cab or taking the train from Marikina all the way to Makati. So I really believe that biking should be promoted as a mode of transport here in Metro Manila. Okay? Palace, IBP, junk call for RevGov. Ay nako, itong RevGov, alam niyo itong RevGov, revolutionary government. There's a talk about transforming this into a revolutionary government because Duterte is old, etc., etc. Wag na yun. That's another extra constitutional means that they're trying to consider that actually will only destroy our governmental institutions further. The benefit that they're imagining to maybe further their political interests, they're actually destroying this country. What we need is to build systems. I talked about this a couple of sessions ago. A strong political party system, a shift to a parliamentary system, a shift to a federal form, strengthening the civil service, raising a generation of Filipinos with integrity and excellence. There's no shortcut, my friends. There is no shortcut. That's from the Manila Standard. Okay. How did you spend your weekend? You know how I spent my weekend? I sang a lot. I spent a lot of time singing in our karaoke machine, and I had so much fun. I sang Martin, Basil Valdez, even Gary V. I enjoy singing. We sing a lot in our family. So I also had a chance to sing a duet with Trisha. Did any of you catch that? I enjoy that tremendously. When I don't have a lot of talks, and I don't, this week is all in, is really for preparing for next week. Next week we will have a ton of talks. I think we will have 4 events next Monday. That next week. So this week is my week to prepare, and because I know that this week won't be as taxing for my throat or for my voice, I could risk singing a lot, because when you sing, it could also strain your voice. Although there's technique, but if you sing many songs in consecutive days, that could hurt your throat. So since this week is really for preparing for the trainings next week, so I could take some risks there, and I enjoyed a lot. And I hope soon I could invite you guys to come visit me here in Marikina, and let's have videoke. Let's sing and let's party. Oh my goodness, I miss those parties with friends. We used to host so many parties in this house. I miss them very, very much. I hope they're all doing well in their respective homes. Yes, parties. And I hope to invite all of you. Yung mga suki ko dito, sino bang pinakasuki dito? Kuya Gilbert, Tito Melchan. Ito mga suki dito, si Tita Beng. I will invite you to the house once COVID is over. Good morning as well, Tita Jenny Salvador. Sabi niya she's doing laundry. Or did she do laundry? Did she do laundry during the weekend? That's what she's saying. Yes. Muji black gray notebooks are good too. The Muji though, Mel, doesn't take the... Sometimes I use a broad nib. That's what you call it, the tip of the fountain pen. And when I use a broad nib on a Muji, it doesn't take the ink as well. There's feathering. There's a term in the pen world where you call it feathering. Okay, it feathers, it spreads a little bit. So there. So what do I want to talk about? What's interesting? I want to talk about success. How do we become successful? Let's talk about that. 8:35 in Metro Manila. Thank you, my friends, again for joining me. I would like to say hi to everyone who have tuned in. Thank you so much, Jillian De La Rosa, Chico, for joining me today. I appreciate every one of you who continue to tune in. It's not easy to run a show thrice a week, thinking about topics, preparing. TV stations have teams of professionals thinking of topics, thinking of things to talk about and to make their shows interesting. It's hard to, if you're alone or not alone. I see my partner glaring at me because I'm not alone. I have her. But still, if you do have topics in mind, if you think there are interesting subjects that you'd want me to talk about, please do send in your suggestions, because we could run out of ideas, especially if we're tired, we're preoccupied with certain things. I do a lot of programs and training, so when those days come, it's hard to think of topics for this Mark Your Day. That's why if you have suggestions on how or what topics to talk about, please feel free to reach out so I could consider those. Good morning, Ate Colin. Sino? Oh, Jillian is from Pampanga. Victory, Pampanga. To our friends in Victory, Pampanga, good morning. Hi, Jillian. I hope you guys are okay. I know that you have opened the church again, but with social distancing and hindi ganun ka-strict yung mga lugar na yan. Pwede kayong maglakad-lakad sa labas. I can see Pastor Jerome, in fact, walking around the park of Clark every day where he shoots his vlog. Oh, so nice to be in a place where there's more freedom. Here in Metro Manila, it's best for us to stay indoors because it's still very risky because the cases are still going up. So, what is success? Many people talk about how to be successful. Many people talk about how to achieve great things in life. Before I share with you the points, I'd like to begin by saying success is never measured by how much you have in terms of money or possessions. It's not also measured by the degrees that you have accumulated. It's also not measured by the places that you have gone to. It's also not measured by the people who follow you. So what is success for me? What is success for me? Success for me is this. When you can maximize what you have been born with. We're all born with certain capabilities. We're all born with certain passions. We're born with certain biases. We're born with certain desires and interests. We're born with certain preferences. And it is when we maximize those things that we become successful. And that's why it's not healthy to measure ourselves against another person because their own set of gifts will be completely different from our set of gifts. It's never the same. That's why you will only be bitter and insecure if you keep looking at people other than the person you see on the mirror every day. There is no basis for comparison because we're all completely different. Okay? I'd like to read what Jillian's just wrote. Thank you, Attorney Mark and Ate Trisha. You remember po that I am from Pampanga. I always tune in to Attorney's online show kahit sa GMA7. And I remember what Attorney said. Don't let the most productive days pass from 6 a.m. to... Yes. All right. Thanks, Jillian. Okay. I was talking about success. And it's not about measuring ourselves against another. But the reason why we have a tendency to measure ourselves against the other or another person is because of school. We were raised in a school system that pitted us against our friends. There's a natural competition there, and there's a list. And that thinking that there's a list actually spills over to the business world where they list the richest, they list the biggest, they list the like this, they list the like that. But the biggest company might not be the happiest, might not be the place where people are happy. The biggest corporation might not be the company that actually does the most good. So there's really no basis for one-to-one comparison. So that's my first point. It's all about maximizing who you are. It's all about maximizing my gifts, your gifts. Not just your gifts, not just your talents, not just your skills, but maximizing your preferences, maximizing your likes, maximizing your healing, Kasi hindi lahat ng tao mahilig sa mga gusto mong gawin. Halimbawa, ito si Tito Vlogs, si Tito Gil, mahilig siya sa stock market. Hindi lahat ng tao mahilig sa stock market. Posibleng merong iba na magaling mag-isip ng trends, ng graphs, ganon. Pero yung galing sa pag-analyze is just one. You were also born with that interest, with that desire. So you are also wired to be interested in that. That's why Kuya Gil can be on his show morning and night, and I admire his endurance and his commitment to what he does. Again, that is a gift. That is a gift. Yung hilig. So ano po ang hilig ninyo? Anong hilig ninyo? Sige nga, tanungin ko nga kayo. Aside from your skill, again, celebrate your hilig. Huwag mong ikakahiya yung hilig mo because your hilig is also yours. Not everyone's interested in pens. Not everyone's crazy about coffee. Not everyone's crazy about kundiman. Do you know, guys, that I love kundiman very, very much? I don't know. There's even a funny story. We were driving up to Baguio for our wedding, and I asked Trisha, can I sing? And she said, what are you gonna sing? I said, Bituing Marikit. Sabi niya, oh naman, hindi ko pa kilala ng mga kamag-anak ko. Because to me, those songs are just so lovely. I love them. It's weird. It's not acceptable for many, but that's part of me. I love poetry. I love literature. I love old things. I love those weird things. Okay? So, never compare yourself with others and celebrate your unique capabilities and your preferences. Okay. So, if you have your unique capabilities and preferences, how do you now maximize those in order to be successful based on how the Lord and how God made you? Okay? So here are 4 things that I believe are essential in order to maximize our capabilities and be successful based on our own standards and our own set of skills and preferences. Number 1 and most important is how we use our time. Success is all about how we use our time. Now, some people could be in a hurry. Some people could also be too slow. In either case, you might not be able to maximize who you are and what God made you to be. So in order for you to maximize who you are and your capabilities, you need to make sure that you use your time very, very well. Okay? Now, when I say people are too slow, it's possible that they are slow and they're not maximizing their time because they are fearful, because they doubt themselves. When you are too fearful and when you doubt yourself too much, then it's possible for you to hold back. So you have to ask yourself, I'm good at this, I know this, people are telling me, why am I not doing it? Why am I not doing it? Why am I not acting on it? Why am I wasting my time? So if it's a problem of fear, if it's a problem of self-doubt, I ask you to go seek help from a friend, to encourage you, to push you, to challenge you, and to even bring you up to speed. Some people need help with their hands held and really allowing them to take the first steps. Some people are not self-initiating, meaning they're not self-propelling. Hindi nila kaya na sila lang mismo. So baka kailangan nila ng tulong. Hindi tayo pare-pareho. Some start fast, some start slow. So what is important is to realize there's what you call first mover advantage sa negosyo. Kung nauna kang gumalaw, mas mamamaximize mo yung learning doon kasi natuto ka na. Yung iba hindi pa natuto, so magkakaroon ka ng head start sa compared sa iba. yung first mover advantage mo also will allow you time not to rush your development. Hindi mo kailangan madaliin yung development mo. Kasi nga, nagsimula ka ng mas maaga. But I'm not saying also that starting early is always the right thing. I'm not saying that. Because it's possible also that you're rushing things. Yung isa, mabagal. Meron namang iba na masyado namang nagmamadali. There are a lot of things in life that you should not rush. And what is that? Number one, you should not rush expertise. Yung expertise, ina-accumulate yun over time. Kung minamadali mo yun, magiging hilaw yun. Magiging hilaw yun. Natural growth of things. Plants, trees, a garden, kids. You don't rush those things. You don't rush those things. The second mouse gets the cheese. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't, Kuya Mel. So, ibig sabihin, rushing things might not also be a good thing. Too slow. Okay, I'll give you an example. When I was starting my career as a speaker, I thought that having a lot of talks early is good because that will give me experience. But you know what? As a communicator, as a consultant, business consultant, you present yourself to clients and clients consider you to help them and their organization either train their people, fix their organization, build their culture, establish systems, plan for the future. Those things are critical for the success of an organization. Now, if you rush things, you don't have the necessary expertise yet. You don't have the experience yet. You don't have the know-how yet. Your credentials are really not there yet. You rush things. Nagmamadali ka. So what do? You promote yourself quick on social media. Clients see your ad promoting your self-branding. They get you. You get the big client. Yay! Is that a good thing? The problem there is if you rush things, they get you because of your marketing, your sales pitch. Then you do the project. The problem is if you're really not ready yet, that project will only expose your incompetence and your lack of readiness. Kumbaga yung opportunity na yon, rather than becoming a big parang leap for you, becomes a bad mark on your resume. And if that big client starts telling people about how you messed up with that project, then it's gonna slow down your progress. So fast could actually slow you down. Taking shortcuts in your business, in your life, could make you take a U-turn instead. So instead of plodding along at a steady pace, learning, accumulating things, because you rushed things, you could hit a speed bump, you could actually fall and slow you down. The principle is the same in training for a marathon or a triathlon. You don't rush things. You allow things to develop naturally, diligently. You can push it a bit, but you don't take big leaps and take shortcuts. So, being too slow is not good. Rushing things is also not good. So, what do I suggest? When you say maximize your time, it's important for you to have good habits. Be diligent with your habits every day. Work on the fundamentals. Work on the basics. So again, diligence, work on the fundamentals and the basics of whatever you do. Learn, read, accumulate everything. And then, number 3, again, diligence, work on the fundamentals. And number 3, consult people. Timing is important in life and in business. And some people know better timing because they've already experienced it. You don't have to guess. You don't have to speculate. You don't have to dip your fingers all the time. You can consult people who actually pass through that road. And if you have access to good counsel, there's going to be safety. So don't rush things. Don't be too slow and don't hold back as well. Maximize your time by being diligent, by working on the fundamentals of what you do, either business or self-improvement, based on your gifts and based on your preferences. And the next one is you consult people. You ask people. It could be a formal consultation. It could also be by observation. You're observing them. Itong mga nauna na sa inyo, kailan siya nag-jump? Kailan siya gumalaw? Yan yung mga bagay na pwede nating i-consider. Okay? Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Joy. Thanks for dropping by today. Yan yung unang-una. So, time. Pangalawa, if we want to maximize our capabilities and gifts, we need to make sure that we maximize or we are keen in spotting opportunities. We need to be keen in spotting opportunities. Itong opportunities na ito, minsan hindi natin nakikita. Alam nyo kung bakit? Because we're so firm with our plans. Some people miss opportunities because they're too focused. Some people miss opportunities because they're too distracted with useless things. Okay? So just like time, you don't rush things, you're also not too slow. Sa opportunities naman, you don't focus too much that you don't see the opportunities that are lurking around you. Sometimes when you're tunnel vision, meaning wala ka nang nakikitang iba kasi ito talaga yung opportunity na inaantay ko. Ito lang. If we think that way, we miss the joy of the journey because opportunities might come from unexpected places and opportunities really come from people. So there's a line that I heard from church. I'm not sure if it was from Pastor Steve or Pastor Joey. He says, when in life, it is better to be expectant than to expect. When you're expecting things, you're specific with what you expect. But when you're expectant, you're waiting, you're keen, you're looking. Okay? So don't be too focused. When you're writing down your plans, make sure that while you have your plans, you're not obsessing about this one big break. According to many successful businessmen, the business that might make you really big are actually not the things that you thought would make you big. You will just discover them along the way. Okay? Sabi ni Kuya Steve, with experience, our eyes will be trained to spot on those opportunities. Yes, as you move through life, you will know somehow where those opportunities are because those opportunities are somehow follow a certain pattern. But even with those patterns, I would still suggest that you keep an open mind for unexpected opportunities. That's why, diba, when the fishermen came to Jesus and they caught nothing, what did Jesus tell them? Go back and throw it to the other side. When it doesn't work, just throw it to the other side. And I keep telling this to people. You know what opportunities really look like? What do opportunities really look like? Sige nga, whoever can guess gets a prize from me. Opportunities, anong itsura ng opportunities? What do opportunities really look like? If you've read some of my posts or have been following me, I keep saying this. You know what opportunities really look like? Sige nga. Opportunities really look like what? Opportunities look like Opportunities look like people. Opportunities look like people. People who need help, people who need a partner, people who need a project, people who need a product, people who need things, people who desire things. So, opportunities, for example, challenges. Opportunities come in the form of a human being who needs you, who needs your service, who needs your expertise, who needs what you can do. So, meaning, if we're looking for opportunities, we're actually looking for people. So, if you're meeting the same people every single day, if you're meeting the circle of people that you meet are the very same people the past how many months or years, baka nalilimit yung opportunities that you're meeting. That's why, meet people. Meet people. Okay? And that's actually number 4. You know what's the fourth thing that can put these together? The fourth thing, or the third thing rather, the third thing that's important for your success is really good relationships. Time is essential. Opportunities are important. But time and opportunities will come in the form of people who need you. So life is all about building good relationships. At home, at work, in business, and in our communities. You want to maximize synergies. You want to maximize interdependence. You want to maximize growth of your ability to make others grow. Make others grow. That's why I think one of the secret to our progress in life, I would see that the Lord blessed us with some progress, Trisha and myself. We enjoyed volunteering. Even today, I volunteer. So I volunteer in many organizations. So what do? I make sure that I don't have commitments that will tie me down. Halimbawa, my church involvement. I am involved with, I go to Victory Church, but I am also very involved with the Christian Missionary Alliance. I also help other churches, other independent churches. So meaning, my commitment with one church, yun sa akin, should not limit my ability to help other churches. My commitment to this one group should not limit my ability to help other groups. That's why when I was in law school and even in college, I decided not to join a fraternity. Not because I don't like fraternities. I actually like them very much and I admire them very much. But because I admire them, I cannot be member of just one. Because I want to be friends with this fraternity and that fraternity and the other fraternity. And if I become member of just one fraternity, I might limit my ability to have very good, strong partnerships and relationships with other groups. So that's just me. Some have chosen to be members. That's their preference and that's their calling in life. My calling in life is to be a bit more broad and to be more open to others. So that's why I use my time well, be diligent, work on the fundamentals, consult people. Opportunities will not come if you're too focused, you're also too distracted. It's important for you to be keen. To be keen on spotting what? People. And number 3, good relationships. Don't be limited. Open yourself up. Go see your high school friends. Go see your church mates. Go make friends in your biking community. Good relationships will allow you to see opportunities. Because again, opportunities come in the form of human beings. Lastly, Very, very important. And I believe this is the most important in order to maximize your capabilities for success. What is the fourth and most important? The fourth and most important is, what is your purpose? Because nothing on earth will be sustained without a clear purpose. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Because of my parents. When your parents pass away, paano na? Because of my children. When your children grow up and they live their own lives, paano na? Because of this particular award. Okay, fine, you get the award. After you get the award, ano na? So yung the purpose that we set that motivates us to maximize our gifts and capabilities is absolutely important. You could keep your purpose low or you could also peg it very, very high. It really depends on you. Ako, I'd like to share my purpose, and this is how I have been trained by my parents, is really to make God smile. Just please God who made you. Just please Him who gave you time. Just please Him who gave you opportunities. Just please Him who allow you to meet people. So my purpose is to really glorify Him. That's why I prefer not to be limited by the statements of people, because what I ultimately would like to hear is God telling me, well done, my good and faithful servant. Well done. Because if your purpose is anchored on people that you hope would give you a tap in the back, we might be disappointed. And if your purpose is so limited, we might not really unleash our full potential. So, those are four that I believe are important, because this is an important saying. Success is not to the rich, to the strong, or to the learned. For all of us are just granted time and chance. On earth, we're granted time and opportunities. It's what we do with time and opportunities that will determine our success in maximizing our capabilities. They're in good relationships. I'd like to just share with you two things that I believe are essential to build good relationships. Kasi itong building good relationships na ito ay napakahalaga. So what are two things that I believe are very, very important if you want to build good relationships with people? Number one, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Kung ang iyong ginagawa ay dahil sa iyong yabang, or dahil sa iyong personal na interest, or dahil sa iyong ambisyon, people will not like you because you will use them. And when you use them, you will not build good relationships because they will not trust you. So do nothing out of selfish ambition. That's why be driven by a desire to really help. Be driven by a desire to really provide value. And number two, that I believe is essential to building good relationships is this. Do everything without complaining or arguing. Kung tayo ay, alam mo yung nakakainis yung reklamador, yung lahat ng maliliit na bagay nirereklamo, pinapalaki. People don't like people who complain a lot. And people also don't like people who argue a lot and who thinks that they are the only experts at what they do. If we're always argumentative and putting people down, we always want to have the last say on things, people will not like us and people will not build good relationships with us. So two things. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Because if you do things out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, lahat na, pag nanakaw, pag mamanipulate, manganganak yun ng marami pang problema. At yung pangalawa, do everything without complaining or arguing. Hindi talaga maganda yun. Kasi if you keep arguing, it's not gonna build good relationship. You know what's important to do to do. These are things that you should not do. There's a thing that you should do in order to build good relationships. You know what's important to do if we are to build good relationships? I love this line. Consider others better than yourself. You want to build good relationships? Consider others better than you. If you consider others better than you, you will listen to them sincerely. If you consider others better than you will ask questions rather than lecture. If you consider others better than you will look at them with appreciation. If you consider others better than you would seek their presence by your side. If you consider others better than you would praise them and use words that encourages them. It will spill over to many good things that you will do for other people if you consider others better than you. But if you go out there considering yourself better than everyone else, you will not listen, you will manipulate, you will lecture, and do everything that people will not like. Use your time wisely. Build opportunities by meeting people. Meet people by developing good relationships. But you can only do those three things if you have a clarity of purpose. And my suggestion, do everything as unto God, so that you will not be limited by the standards of this earth. You will not be limited by the statements hurled at you by people. You will not be limited by the discouraging statements that you hear. But you will have the humility to consider others better than you, because you're just human and you're also in the journey towards becoming a better version of yourself. Becoming a better version of yourself. Okay, those are 4 things that I believe are essential, and I continue to preach those 4 things to myself. There's no end to this journey while we are alive. Last portion of the show, let's talk about what's trending. What's trending, my friends? You know what I want to talk about na trending? Ang daming sunog. Ang daming sunog. Forest fires in the US, sunog sa Middle East, sunog sa maraming sunog, maraming pagkasira dahil sa fire. I just want us to be careful. We're in our homes. Sabi nga, 'di ba, mas okay nang manakawan, wag lang masunugan. So I hope that we check our factories, we check our spaces, kasi walang mga tao. Posibleng may mga wire, mga ganon. So I read a lot about the fires. Let's be careful, my friends. Some people interpret this, baka magugunaw na. It might be the end times. The world will end. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna end soon. Mahaba pa itong mundo natin. So habang nag-aantay tayo kung when this world will end, I pray that we will all maximize our capabilities. All maximize our capabilities. But do keep safe, my friends. Yung mga trending na sunog, ang dami sunog, di ba? So to the our friends in California, dami forest fires dyan. Sa Australia din, there was a time, grabe din ang sunog. Sa Dubai, recently, I know that there was one near the airport of Dubai, and my sister-in-law works there. So I hope we're all careful, we're all watchful. Be watchful, be gentle as doves, but be also cunning as serpents. Be watchful. Wag po tayong, don't let our guards down. And because of this COVID-19, wag kampante, my friends. If you have the option, please just stay at home. I enjoyed this discussion with you. It's just slow, and I was thinking about the topic last night, and I thought, why not we talk about success? And if you think about it, it's really simple. Do nothing out of selfish ambition. Consider others better than yourself. Don't waste time. Maximize your relationships with people. God bless you, my friends. See you all again Wednesday. We will be joined by our beloved co-host, Trisha. Have a great week ahead. Don't waste your time. Be the best version of yourself for the Lord, making Him smile always. God bless.